Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have our third match against Kadri from battles 17 and 26. He also appeared in multi-battles 31 and 33. This is another opponent that I got off the Online Gamers Chat Discord. And as you can see, he brought another very strong and well-balanced team there. So it should definitely be another good one, and we're going to get into it. So, looking at his team, I really wasn't sure what he was going to want to lead with. He definitely has a few solid options there, but he actually ends up leading with the Skarmory, as I decided to lead with my Donnie. So he is just going to go straight for the spikes here to go ahead and get an entry hazard set up on me early, as I decide to go straight for the Stealth Rock to get an entry hazard set up on him early. So this turn I am going to go for a switch. There's not much I can do to this thing with the Donphan, so I'm going to come in with my Heatran Captain Magma. I'm going to take some damage from the spikes as he actually decides to go for the Brave Bird, hoping I would stay in, I'm guessing. So that's not going to do much of anything to me there, and he is going to take a little bit of damage from the recoil, and I am going to regain some health with the leftovers, as he is actually going to regain some health with his leftovers. So he is going to go for the switch this turn, knows there's not much he can do to me with the Skarmory, so he's going to come in with Chansey and take some damage from the rocks as I go for a Magma Storm here, and I actually miss, which was quite unfortunate for me, but I am going to regain some more health with the leftovers. So this turn I decide to stay in and just go for the Magma Storm again to see how much damage I can get on this Chansey, which unfortunately is not much. This thing is way too specially defensive. But the good news with that is I am going to trap him from switching out, as he just takes this opportunity to go for the Stealth Rock to get another entry hazard set up on me. I'm going to regain more health from the leftovers, and he is going to take some damage from the Magma Storm. So I'm going to go for the switch here. I realize there's not much else I can do to this thing with the Heatran, so I'm going to come in with my Poliwrath, my Wrath, and I'm going to take some damage from the spikes and the Stealth Rock as he just goes for the Seismic Toss, which is a guaranteed 50 damage off of whatever it hits. So this turn he is going to go for the switch, and he is going to come in with the Latios, and he is going to take some damage from the rocks, as I actually do anticipate the switch and go for the Ice Punch, which is going to knock him down to about a quarter health, which was nice. So this turn I am going to go for the switch. I don't want to take a Psychic attack from this thing, so I'm going to come right back in with my Heatran, and I am going to take some damage from the spikes and the rocks, as he does go for the Psy-Shock. So, not going to do a whole lot of damage to me there, leaving me with about half health, and I'm going to regain some health with the leftovers. So, he is actually going to go for the switch this turn. He might be choice itemed, not really sure, but he is going to come back in with Chansey. I'm going to go for the Magma Storm again. Luckily, I do not miss, so that is going to do a little bit of damage to the Chansey, but more importantly, trap it in once again from switching out. I'm going to regain more health with the leftovers, and he is going to take more damage from the Magma Storm. So that does leave him in the red, and I decide to make a risky play here and go for a Magma Storm again, hoping that it would be enough to finish him off. Luckily, I don't miss, and fortunately, it is enough to finish off the Chansey and drop him down to 5 Pokemon. So not every day you see a Chansey get taken out with a special attack, but that is one pretty big threat out of the way that I am pretty happy about. So then he is going to come in with Landorus, and he is going to get the Intimidate to lower my attack. Not really going to matter since I am a special set. And that is going to force me to switch out. Of course, I don't want to take a ground attack from this thing, so I'm going to come back in with my Poliwrath. I am going to take damage from the spikes and the rocks, which is actually going to trip my Citrus Berry to give me some health back, which is pretty nice. He is actually just going to go for a U-turn here to get a little bit of chip damage and, of course, the mandatory switch. So off of that, he is going to come right back in with the Latios, and he is just barely going to survive this damage from the Stealth Rock on the switch in the red, unfortunately. And he is going to outspeed me this turn and just go for the Psych size shock. I didn't really want to risk a switch there, so I just stayed in and let him take me out there. So that is going to drop me down to 5 Pokemon. So then I'm going to come back in with Heatran and take more damage from the spikes and the rocks. And he is definitely going to outspeed me this turn. He actually decides to bust out the Z move on the Latios, which turns out to be the Dragon Z move, the Devastating Drake. So, no doubt this is coming off of Draco Meteor, so it would do massive damage even though I do resist it. And luckily for me, though, I do survive that in the red with 8 health, which was awesome. That is going to let me fire off a Flash Cannon in return, which is going to be more than enough to finish off the Latios and drop him down to 4 Pokemon. And then I am going to regain some health with the leftovers once again. So, then he is going to come in with Lopunny and take some damage from the rocks. And he is going to go for the Mega Evolution here into Mega Lopunny. And he is just going to go straight for the return, and that is obviously going to be more than enough to finish off my Heatran and drop me down to 4 Pokemon as well. So then I'm going to come in with Donphan, and I am going to take some damage from the spikes and the rocks. But that is going to force him to switch. I am actually max physical defense on this Donphan, so he is going to come in with the Skarmory and take some damage from the rocks, as I just decided to go for the knockoff, predicting a switch, so not going to do a ton of damage, but it does get rid of the leftovers, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to go for the switch here. Not much more I can do to this thing with Donphan, so I'm going to come in with my Yanmega Sparks. I'm going to lose half my health to the Stealth Rock, unfortunately, and he actually just decides to go for the spikes once again to get the second lair set up on me, which is not good. So this turn I am going to go for the Air Slash. I am actually Choice Spexed, so I am trying to get as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, he does survive that with about a quarter of his health. Goes for the Brave Bird, and that is going to be enough to finish off my Yanmega, dropping me down to 3 Pokemon, and he is going to just barely survive the recoil damage there in the red. So then I'm going to come in with my Mimikyu Pikachu, and I am going to take damage from the hazards, of course. I'm going to outspeed him here, and I just decided to go for the Play Rough in case he decided to switch. That is going to be more than enough to finish off the Skarmory, dropping him down to 3 Pokemon. So then he is going to come back in with Landorus, take more damage from the rocks, and get the Intimidate to lower my attack. So here he is just going to go straight for the Earthquake. And he does outspeed me, unfortunately, so that is going to obviously break my decoy, but that's okay, because I decide it is time to bust out the Z move of my own, and I am actually packing the special Z move for Mimikyu on this, and that, of course, is going to be Let's Snuggle Forever. Probably the oddest Z move in the game, more than likely. Coming off of Play Rough, though, so it would do massive damage. I do have the -1 from the Intimidate, but I am hoping to KO this thing with this. But unfortunately, he does survive that in the red, so not quite enough to take him out. But that is okay. I am just going to go for a Shadow Sneak this turn, and luckily that is enough to finish off the Landorus and drop him down to 2 Pokemon. So then he is going to come back in with Lopunny and take a little more damage from the rocks. And he is going to outspeed me here. He is just going to go straight for the return. It is able to hit me thanks to the Scrappy ability, so that is going to be more than enough to take out my Mimikyu, dropping me down to 2 Pokemon as well. So then I am going to come back in with Donphan and take more damage from the hazards. And he is actually going to go for the switch here directly into his Greninja, which was a pretty interesting play at the time. He is going to take damage from the rocks, as I am just going to go for the Earthquake, which is going to be enough to one-shot kill the Greninja and drop him down to just 1 Pokemon. So he is going to come back in with Lopunny and take some more damage from the rocks. And at this point, I do realize the reason he did that is because he wanted to reset his Lopunny to go for the fake out. He is going to get some chip damage and the mandatory flinch, of course, on me. He is going to take some damage from my Rocky Helmet. So I am going to go for the Ice Shard this turn to try and get as much damage as possible. It's not going to be enough, though, as he does go for the high jump kick, which is going to finish my Donphan off and drop me down to just one Pokemon, as he does take more damage from the Rocky Helmet. So finally, I am going to come in with my Blissey Yo Mama. I am going to take some damage from the hazards. He is going to outspeed me here. Goes for the high jump kick. Unfortunately, he does not miss, and that is going to be enough to take out my Blissey, and that is game. So I did end up losing that one, 1-0 against Kadri, but that was a great game, very close, very competitive, definitely could have gone either way. But thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.